All right, hello everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Feature Fragment podcast, where we look at the bits, bobs, and blemishes of games or anything in pop culture, and we kind of talk about it. Today, we're going to be talking about a game, Warframe, which actually just had a big convention, and I watched a little bit of it, but I was mostly just watching it to get the Warframe that you guys see behind us, the Saren Prime. We'll go into that a little bit later. But first, let's go ahead and introduce one of our guests, our first guest, who is coming back from last month, Beck.
Back by unpopular demand, it's me.
By unpopular demand. Oh, come on. Give yourself some more credit than that.
Oh, it's a meme I put I put when I come back from lunch at work.
Your coworkers must love you.
Oh,
And
they
then
do actually.
And then next we have another guest, and this is going to be our first guest that is not in like my close knit friend group. Simply Deo.
Not yet. And also, can I say, it's even better with the angry eyebrows when you said "not," by unpopular demand. That I just was chef's.
And that's why I picked it.
So yeah, I'm Deo, simply underscore Deo on. I try to get it on and any and everything. So yeah, follow me there. Uh, Kind of originally started everything with like Guild Wars 2, but also now mostly playing Warframe, taking a break from Guild Wars 2. I don't hate it. I'm not a redditor. But yeah, just enjoying games. Such a weird concept, I know.
Oh yeah, you can't do that nowadays. That's against the rules. You're not allowed to enjoy a game. You have
Wow.
to you have to see that from behind screens and gooning.
Hell, I'm playing games that are like decades old.
How
But
dare you?
kidding me, that's some of the most fun I ever had.
I can't say much. Usually when I'm going to bed, I still have my 3DS on my nightstand, and lately I've been playing through a ROM hack of Heart Gold.
Oh, I
And
think I know which one you're talking about.
yeah, Sacred Gold.
Yeah. I forget the silver one.
See, I was thinking of getting the silver one, but both of them essentially run off of Crystal's story, so it really didn't matter to me. And I like Ho-Oh more than Lugia. So you can crucify me in the comments below, but Ho-Oh is better than Lugia, and Suicune's better than all of them.
Well, what you do is
Questionable
you have
takes.
to get both, right? That's
Yeah,
the power of
gotta catch them
Pokemon.
all.
Yeah.
Well,
Like the trademark.
well, here's the thing: is apparently with the guy who made the ROM hack for Sacred Gold or whatever it was called, he's actually making a crystal specific version of it, and he's like rewriting the entire game to a sense.
Oh my
So
nose.
I need to remember who it was so I can look it up and actually, see if he's worked on that project anymore.
I'll say now I just feel like Nintendo as like the Eye of Sauron, just like what?
Usually, I think Nintendo usually goes after people if it's something that's actively going to fight against something that they're trying to sell at the time. So
Mm.
if he was doing these ROM hacks like as those games were dropping, yes, he would have the ire of Nintendo on him. But seeing as those games are like 10, 15 years old, and we don't really know if there's like a sequel coming or to the Switch, or possibly even the Switch 2, say for A to Z, they really don't care unless
Mm.
it's
Hey,
something egregious.
if they can't give me my Twilight Princess remake, you know what? Screw them. They released it on the Wii U, but they can't put it on the Switch.
Yeah, I
Rat,
agree with that.
rat bastards.
I've really wanted to play I really want to play Twilight Princess, but I only have a Switch right now.
That is, I actually. Speaking of which, I need to message my coworker. He's supposed to be selling me a copy of Twilight Princess for the GameCube that I bought off of my other coworker.
All
It
right,
is
well,
now in my living room.
we should probably get onto the game we're playing today. We are playing Warframe, and as I said, I'm playing as Saren Prime. So all you people who actually play Warframe, please don't kill me. I am new to this game, and I barely know how to use a character.
We love new players, for the most part.
I've
So
told that to people in the past that start streaming. I'm like, just put new to Warframe. People, it's like Guild Wars 2. People love to watch people go through for the first time. So, tip, if you're streaming, put that in.
okay. You'll find the Warframe community very welcome. Well, thank you. I'll have to test that at some point. So what? Let's start off with this. What caught your eye to Warframe, and we'll start with Beck on this one.
It was free for the most part. I always don't mind trying some free games. I think I remember starting playing it on the console. Um, and it was very action oriented. I like the I like the movement in it. Um, and then I stopped playing for a while. My buddy from Canada got me back playing on the PC version, and we've been just kind of competing against one another to see who can get higher mastery rank. In fact, he just logged on today because he found out I was hitting rank 30 today, so
Oh,
he
congrats.
can't let that happen.
All right. So as a new player, I see the levels. I'm still level 2 because I've been bad and I really haven't played all that much. What is the mastery rank?
So mastery rank is essentially you get it, there's certain items that get limited by mastery rank, right? They're usually like the more, I don't know, niche weapons like the Kuva Brahma, a bow that shoots exploding bolts. Mastery rank is just basically shows, hey, and realistically it puts it's like, hey, you put in the time for it. You do get some benefits, like you get more mod capacity when you build a frame or weapon.
Yeah, like starting mod capacity. It'll treat it like if you're rank 14, it'll treat it like you have the mod capacity of leveling it up to level 14. But then it's stuck at that till you get to 15, 16, whatever.
Okay.
So in situation becoming MR30, if he resets it to change like a polarity for a mod, he basically has the full mod capacity from the get-go.
All right. And
Also, there's certain benefits for it too. Like I think level 30, you can take an unleveled frame into certain missions like sorties, stuff like that.
all right. And what got you into Warframe there, Dale?
Oh boy, it's been a while. I think it was maybe like them like heavily pushing. I think it was Plains of Eidolon I started with, which was their first open. I think they refer to it as open world. It's kind of more open map area. Like it's, but yeah, I think I was looking for like a shooter game. I think a lot of people were like Destiny, and I was like, I think along the lines of like, well, I don't know if I want to invest all the money for that. I was like, well, this one's free. Let me give it a go. And yeah, I enjoyed it ever since. Plays Destiny too, but I don't know if we're going to be talking about it in the future, but seems like a lot of new people coming in from the Destiny 2 channels.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say something about that when you mentioned Destiny. I see a lot more content creators that are switching over.
Yeah, we'll talk about D2 a little bit later into the cast for sure, because that's one of the things I'll bring up. So other people may know the names you guys are going to spout here soon, but I just wanted it out there for, I guess, prosperity's sake. What are your guys' favorite frames right now?
I guess
Depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very much picking what tools right. A lot of time I'm running either Citrine or Hildren.
Yeah. For me, definitely depending on what I'm doing. My usual one is either Neja or Revenant.
Okay, I think I've heard Neja a few times.
Kind of has like a big ring, like if you've seen it zooming around, it's like a big ring type thing.
Okay.
A lot of fire.
All right. Yeah. I've seen it.
Warding Halo.
I've seen a few frames, and I will say, while the frames do look cool, at least for a new player, this you guys might yell at me for this, but I feel there is a bit of visual clutter in a sense. And with what I mean by that is, with me being a new player and not like knowing exactly, and just kind of whipping around trying to find something to shoot so I can continue the mission. I do get confused with some people's frames and the enemy, and thank God there's not friendly fire. I would have capped a few people in the head already.
I mean, depending, sometimes there is.
There used to be, if you get radiation procs.
Oh,
Oh God.
it doesn't work like that in sorties anymore?
No, I no, I think they removed that in
Oh, there's no reason to...
like a year or two ago.
Oh, that was some fun times, because there would be like a cloud of radiation on the ground, and all of a sudden everybody would be dying but one person. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, because ever since I switched to the AX25, I think that's what the name is. Yeah, the AX52. I'll just be whipping around in like a defense, like a King of the Hill type mission, and I'll just be whipping around trying to find something to shoot, and all of a sudden I'll see something move out of the corner of my eye, snap to it, and just track the head for like 6 shots, and go wait, and then go wait, that's an ally. Fuck.
It's worse when you have a Necros on your team,
Why is
Yeah.
that?
or a Necros that has their, so you can, with the customization, you know, you can customize like the energy colors.
Yeah.
What's worse is when you're doing a mission in the Void against what's the corrupted faction, because all the enemies show up as like a yellow. So if you have a Necros that basically can summon, you know, dead enemies that it's killed,
And
and they
like
have
Chad
a yellow
is...
color.
And like Chad is saying, they have more recently, I think within the last year, added like a thing where you can kind of highlight allies and enemies so it's more clear.
Okay.
But I don't know, for me, I'm like, well, but then it's not like, I say realistic. I mean, we're space ninjas and fight. Yeah.
So, and to go on to the customization thing, like you guys were talking with the Necros guy, I will say that the customization in this game is just absolutely insane. If you're willing to put out the cash for that,
Hmm.
and I mean, it doesn't look like it costs too much. It's like what, $6 kind of thing.
Depends on what you're getting. So right, so in they have like different things. They have the Tenogen, which is what essentially artists submit designs that to the company, and they basically say, yeah, if the design gets approved and stuff like that, they'll put up on Tenogen, where the creator gets part of the money from the sales and stuff like that, and you can
Oh,
buy it. They have some really good stuff on there, but a lot of it's, you know, stuff you get from like the marketplace or the shops or stuff like that.
okay,
Which, at
so
least if it's the stuff that's using the platinum, that is a tradable in-game currency. So theoretically, you don't have to pay real money for it. But at least on PC, like Beck's saying, the Tenogen requires actual money because it's splitting it with the creator.
yeah, so it's kind of like the stamps from Team Fortress 2 type thing. The map
Mm.
creator makes someone creates a map, and then Valve gives them a little bit of cash if somebody buys the gem. If somebody buys the stamp.
Yeah, I think on the console version they use platinum.
And Chat brings up a good point, since they just recently kind of did the cross save, cross platform thing. Tenogen, I think for that reason, on the consoles they can spend it with platinum, since it's like a different thing, but it's platform specific. I think because of the contract reasons.
Yeah, kind of like with mobile apps, and how Apple will take more of a cut from an in-app purchase than Samsung or Google will.
I think so, but like I said, like with the consoles, they can actually buy Tenogen with plat.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're platform specific. So beware, if you're hopping between platforms, you might be missing some skins if they're Tenogen.
All right. Let's see. So we talked about that. We talked about when you guys started playing frames you like. Any topics on your guys' minds yet? Anything you guys want to bring up?
There are a few things that they need to rework. Which obviously I'm thankful finally that I think the one in December they're reworking Caliban because he was a very interesting frame, but he's just in the state he's in right now. Ooh, it's rough.
So some
Yeah,
frames are just
that'll be.
broken.
No, he's just. His theme was a sentient theme, which for players they become an enemy later on, like. But it's it yeah it didn't work with me even at launch, and I think that was kind of the consensus. And there are still people that play it, but we don't have a lot of information on it. But yeah, I think people are looking forward to the Caliban rework.
Okay. Yeah,
Looking forward to the deluxe skin.
Yeah.
yeah, because like I've stated, I am brand new to this. I barely know what I'm doing right now.
And
All
honestly,
part
I
of the
think
learning process.
yeah. I tell people, it's like it may sound confusing because sometimes trying to explain. I thought of this yesterday, and I think it works well. It's almost like the teaching someone the English language, where it's like, here's these grammar rules. Oh, except in these certain situations, and they're like, wait, why isn't it just? It's like I don't know. It's like I've seen people try to explain, like I think like Beck was about to say with the like weapon stuff. It's like, well, you know, like Master Rank, it goes by the 30 levels. Oh, but now they've added weapons that go beyond 30. It's like, hey, let's not confuse a new person. They're a little ways away from the higher weapons, like. And then there's like that's a problem. So long as when they build on things, it tends to get a little confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like, as the new guy here, I mean, it hasn't been too bad. There's some things I feel could possibly be explained a little bit better, but it also may be that I'm just not looking in the right places, kind of thing. Um, and I'm barely off of Venus, so I'm barely even off the second planet. It's like, okay, who's this Lotus chick that's talking in my head half the time? It's like okay, I'm guessing she's my handler for reasons, but
Peace, mom.
space.
Yeah, that will definitely get explored throughout the quests and stuff.
Oh yeah, they give the whole backstory for her.
Okay. Because I think I've seen some videos of her on Twitter, and she's walking around all fleshed out. So it's like, okay, so it's a physical person, not an AI that we for certain to get to meet at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we're both trying to like.
I'm trying not to spoil stuff
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
Oh, if you guys need to make a point and you spoil, please, by all means, go ahead. I do not mind spoilers because 90% of the time when people try to spoil something for me, they don't do it justice. I'm one of those guys who
Well,
doesn't mind spoilers because I want to. Seeing the thing happen is a lot better than hearing the thing happen.
Get to the second dream.
I was gonna say where you're saying you're at. Definitely start streaming the story stuff and putting in like new to the game and stuff. And people love the lead up to the quest that he was referring to. Like, so that'll probably be good traffic for you.
Okay.
Second dream and War Within quests were great.
Yeah, I think I'm getting close to getting off of Venus. So I'm doing my somewhat. I guess I'm doing my due diligence. I'm making sure that I clear everything out. I don't know if you can move off a planet before it's completely clear, but I'm making sure I go through everything.
You just have
can,
to
and
get to like the connecting pathways to the junctions, basically, and then the junctions certain requirements.
Yeah.
But it is nice going back to the master rank. You do get a little bit for completing every node, unlocking it. Basically anything you do kind of in the game for the first time, you get a little bit of towards that. So that's probably where some of your MR came from.
and just to put it out there, if you do actually end up completing all of the nodes on the star chart, you get access to what is called the Steel Path, which is it'll humble you at first, but It's very, very worth it.
Though, unfortunately, and I feel like they should change this, because they hide things from story, it counts every node at all times. So even if I think he would complete it now, it might not unlock it because they're still technically nodes.
Okay,
I know he
so
can't do some quests because I think some require mastery rank and some require other quests along with it too.
Yeah,
okay, so the game's always checking to see where you're at and if you've completed certain flags to go to different content.
At least for the quest side. So realistically, once you hit mastery rank 16, you have no real requirement restrictions anymore. Right? Mastery rank 16 is where like you can use every weapon that's been in the game, you can use every frame that's been in the game. At 16, they kind of give you a whole thing of you should know relatively enough of the basics to be able to survive well enough.
I feel so bad. I just killed a cleaning droid for no reason. I'm a monster.
Oh, we've all done it.
I do it. I do it every mission. I just shoot in a general direction and things go boom.
I say feel really bad when you bullet jump off of one.
I like the ones from Star Wars better, but that one doesn't look too bad. The person's just looking at me, staring at this freaking droid. All right, let's go. So level MR Master Rank 5 to complete the star chart, and I'm guessing that's every planet and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't. It's been so long since I've taken a look at the mastery rank requirements for the quest, but I know 5 was definitely one of them, because I think that was for the Revenant quest.
So
it's been so long. I don't know the quest anymore.
So I'm gonna ask a really dumb thing about the movement right now, because I am running with someone did join the mission I'm running right now. Is the slide jump like the preferred method of movement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the quickest way to kind of get around.
Everybody does it.
In fact, for one of your I know one for sure, maybe 2 of your mastery rank tests, you literally have to do an obstacle course where you have to bullet jump.
Okay, yeah, because the one thing I've been doing lately, and I will say with the movement in this game, I love it. Like the controls are top notch. But I've done the slides into the jump into iron sights and do the fly. So it's like Jung Woo or whatever his name is, that movie director that does a lot of gun fu movies.
Yeah, the slowing down motion. Yeah, it's super nice, like movement in the game. And it's crazy that it kind of all came from a glitch or a bug type of thing.
Really?
Yeah. Quick story about it. I think originally, like, you would just walk around normally, like, as you're doing now. But I think it was a certain pair of like I think it was dual swords or something. When you pulled it out and did like a jump, it did like a momentum carry, kind of like what people did with the jump pack in No Man's Sky, to get like a little bit of like a boost type thing moving forward. The dual Zorn, the twin axes, and people were just doing it to like get halfway across the map, and they're like, why don't we just make this a thing?
You gotta love when bugs become features.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you want another movement tech, so slide, do your jump, and then double tap your crouch button.
Slide, do a jump, and then double crouch. I just like cat pounced onto the ground. I think.
Wait, is it my crouch button? Hold on, what's my shift? Oh, your sprint button.
Okay, so slide, jump, sprint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you see how you're doing the roll?
yeah.
So if you do that in quick succession, you from your bullet jump you'll roll forward in the air.
Okay, well, that'll be something to try to learn on something that's not the freaking Death Star hallways.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I will. So we've been going at this for a little bit. Let's go into this as a new player and as someone who really enjoys like story gameplay with their games. I'm kind of curious. Uh, does the story become more involved?
It becomes
What?
crazy.
Yeah. What do you mean by involved necessarily?
So right now, this it definitely does feel like from Earth to Venus. It's like okay, hey, here's a little bit of story to get you going through. You had that thing that was on your shoulder. Now get rid of it, and then once it's gone, it's like okay, now just fuck around and do the missions. And it may be because I haven't been paying attention, but I'm really not following a coherent story yet. But I may just also be in the early parts of the game, early parts of it.
Yeah, the early parts of it they kind of let you go off on your own. It's only I forget which story starts to essentially kind of that big storyline where it gives like the whole backstory of the universe that you're in and the origin system and all the stuff that happened and stuff like that. I'd have to look at my codex when I get out of this mission.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the nodes always kind of do feel like you can hop in it too much of the story, but I think if you like know some of the story bits, like some of the later ones, definitely are in there, and then some of like I think some of the new ones, it'll be like like little collections of getting uh like more backstory if you're finding all these like badges around the place or something. But I would
Okay.
say even early on, probably the open world areas felt more a cohesive story just because it all had to take place in the same spot.
Yeah, because I
But it does
know.
get better, I think.
Okay, yeah, because like I know we were woken as a Warframe to some lady who was running away from some guys, and then we went to Earth, and I remember the story of oh hey, we need to make this glass orb to open up a box, and now I'm here on Venus. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I doing now? Why are these zombie dudes I'm facing right now a thing with the block-headed people? It's like I don't know if I skipped it or if I missed it. It's like who are you people and why the fuck am I shooting you kind of thing.
Yeah, you definitely get that feeling at the beginning where it's just like, I guess these are baddies now. Like moving from like Grenier to Corpus, it's like okay. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this early on the stories, and luckily they've made this change. I think it was like the last 2 years at this point now, where you can do the quests a lot faster. Like they took away some of like the requirements, and I think a lot of them had like, okay, you did this part of the quest, now build something that takes 12 hours. It's like, well, but I want to continue. It's like, so they've, I think, greatly reduced, or I think they greatly reduced most of those.
Railjack. I
Yeah,
remember that pain.
because I remember us kind of hinting at Destiny, and here's one point where I'll bring it up. I have tried to play Destiny, and I will admit that it is a fun, just kind of run around shoot game. And this is kind of one of those too, just run around and shoot games. But with me joining Destiny 2 like a year ago or so,
Oh,
I could not tell you what the that story was about, and it's just like okay, I don't know where the story is. I do not care to try and find the story at this point.
and
I'm
sometimes you can't even because it's like, yeah, I was about to make a joke, but like, how did you enjoy the Red War? I think it was what it was called. The
Yep.
basically the starting campaign. You couldn't.
Lamau.
and then they've changed their game up so much to they've sunset so much stuff in their game. It's like okay, I as a new player I cannot see what this thing that someone's talking about is like the Red War. It's like
I think they did what like some timeline thing, but then like the oldest mission you can play is from the Forsaken campaign.
It's a fun game. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it, but it's just I'm obviously missing. I'm a story player. I'm missing aspects of the game that would keep me interested, and there's no way to really view it.
It needs to be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can agree with you there, Angiera. Hopefully, I'm saying that name right.
Fire range.
So I'm just that's what I was kind of curious is because I'm kind of mentally I'm kind of putting D2 and Warframe kind of in the same box of the fun movement, the shooter game, but if you weren't playing from start, you're missing like important pieces because of how much they've reworked the game to make sure that people stay with it and they can still keep it profitable. And being able to hear the changes, it's like okay, when is the investment that I look forward of a good story because it has the fun gameplay, and by God, Team Fortress 2 keeps me because it has the fun gameplay. But it also has that fun story that I can go and look on to the website in YouTube to get quote unquote caught up with, even though that story is literally just a teaspoon deep.
Yeah. Honestly, kind of what Angier is saying is like when they referred to it as vaulting, they gave vaulting a bad name because then everybody now with Warframe, when they talk about when they introduce a new Prime, which we just got Prime Sevagoth, one has to go rotation wise, the free version, like because you can and all that stuff to get them for free, has to get vaulted. So everybody's like, are they gone forever? No. Weirdly, Warframe actually brings things back. But that's like the only thing that really gets. And if you have relics of that person, because a lot of people will save them, you can sell them for more because they'll no longer drop for X amount of time.
Like all my Ivara
Yeah.
Prime relics that I have.
Yeah, but now they do like a Prime Resurgence, which I think they're just about to switch it over, so I don't know which ones are currently there, but
Right now they have the Ember and Rhino double pack, because of the Ember heirloom skin.
okay, so yeah, I think they might be switching next week
No,
or
when the Nightwave ends,
oh, okay.
is when they're doing it. They're switching it over to Octavia and Nezha Prime dual pack. The one
Which
that they
that's a
have,
pretty good pack.
yes, especially the ephemera for Nezha, which I will be buying because I missed out on that last time. Yeah, they do what's called a resurgence, right? So they sell these Prime access packs as a convenience thing, right? So it's a convenience thing. You can pay whatever version of it you want to get a fully built version of the Prime frame immediately. If you buy the $140 version, you get the 90-day resource booster plus the accessories plus stuff like that. But everything in the game, like when they release primes, like new ones, they drop relics that you can go and farm out relics to go and get the piece for it. So
Yeah, think
you
of
don't.
them like a loot box, but not one that you have to pay for.
Okay.
Yep.
And you'll probably see that as a theme, kind of like Angier was saying when Bek was referring to Nightwave. Think of Nightwave as a battle pass system that you don't have to pay for. Like you can't buy your way through it. It basically they implemented it because like when you're on your orbiter, that like little center console that has like all the information.
Yeah.
They used to randomly have like an event to be like run this mission, and there'd be like 3 or 4. Eventually, with events and like holiday, it started looking like the opening crawl for Star Wars, like it was going outside the orbiter's window. So they were like, we need to like. They basically made that system to be like, this will be an easier way and hopefully declutter it. But now it's getting just as big again. But yeah.
All I know is Knights and Nabrus is coming soon, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the Halloween event.
Fingers crossed, because when they did the Easter event this past year, they made a permanent bunny ears for the characters. Hopefully they give us a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern head permanently.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping they do that
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Do they do really good with their seasonal events?
Yeah, for the most part.
I would say they're probably just like a WoW seasonal event where it's like they have a couple decorations things. You might be able to run regular missions. There's not too many like this is a whole new story type thing. Like
There's this little side story, and you can earn.
yeah, and it's like hey, do a couple of these things, a temporary currency, and collect some seasonal themed skins.
Or sometimes they have weapons too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they'll have weapon patterns that drop in there too. Like ones that are been kind of like rotated out that were a part of events and stuff like that. Like what was it? They just had the Osmu from the Belly of the Beast operation. They got thing with the Jade Shadows.
What was that last part?
Oh, I was gonna say they had a weapon in the most recent operation, they call them, that was part of. I think it's part of the Halloween. I think it gets dropped as a Halloween event one or not. I don't remember. I've had the weapon for so long, I don't remember when it originally got there.
Okay.
So they rotate things in and out all the time. And one of the big things that they do every year for their convention is they have, if you buy the digital pack, usually you get what's called the TennoCon Relay. So there is a in-game trader that appears every 2 weeks that sells like special things, special mods or weapons or skins and stuff like that. But during TennoCon, he shows up in the TennoCon Relay and he brings basically his entire inventory. So everything he's ever sold, and you can buy from that.
So they have a way, though not always available, to get older content and still, yeah.
Yeah, just older items and stuff like that. And again, everything eventually does rotate back in some way or shape.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of people panicking about the Nightwave. They just this past week announced that Nightwave was going to switch over, and it was one of the shorter ones we've had. And so people were like, "Oh, we're never going to get." It's like, I mean, there's stuff in there right now that rotated back, and they're pretty good about that.
That's good to hear, because that's definitely something that I try to look forward in games, is how accessible things can be. And this might be a topic of conversation with a feature fragment later on, is battle passes, loot boxes, and limited time items.
Kill the seasonal model. I am tired of seasonal crap.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more talking about like just FOMO stuff. Like, oh hey, I'm looking through this game's directory of skins. It's like, oh, this one skin looks really cool. Let's take a look at it. And it was released 5 years ago when 30 people played the game, and they never brought it back. Fuck.
Oh yeah, trust me, I'm like that with Final Fantasy 14. There's a certain PvP armor set that got released that you can't get because I don't think they're gonna rotate it back in. And I'm a little pissed because it's like, damn, that's actually one I really wanted because it looked really good. So I've been making it a point to play PvP more.
I would say they have dabbled with FOMO in Warframe as well, but also, and I think this is kudos to them, they definitely do listen to their community. I know they took out, I think, of their, I guess we can just refer to it as the cash shop, like their platinum area that you can trade and get it for free, but I think relic packs, because like a couple of things where it was like it felt like it was preying on the people that weren't aware of how to, like, it's like you can get these easily in game. Why are you charging basically, like, I forget how much it would have been the equivalent to, but they were like, you know what, we looked at it, you're right, we're taking that out because it wouldn't be fair to like a new player. Or most recently
they still have relic packs in there.
I want to say they removed something or addressed, like, maybe it was Forma, or I forget, there was something in, or no, I think, was it credits? I don't think the
No.
credit packs
I
are in that.
know I know that they were making a change to the heirloom skins.
Yes, and I was going to bring that up. Was they first uh, brought in heirloom for Frost and Nyx? Mag, yeah. And they made those, and they were just cosmetic. They made those, you had to spend pretty much like $100 or something like that. I think you could buy separate bundles, but it was the only way to get it, and it was going to be there for a year, and then it was gone. Now people complain about that, and they were like, "Wow, we can't make that change on this one since we already have it out. It's and put out there. The new one, the Ember one, you'll notice you can pay real money for or platinum, which would be traded."
Yeah, and
okay.
they're supposed to be bringing back the Ember, or not the Ember, but the Frost and Mag at some point. I remember because they added platinum to the bundles. That's how they justified some of the prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are pretty bad about that with some of the things where they're like, "We'll just throw in a bunch of platinum to raise the price on." It's like, really?
Oh, you gotta love when they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even nowadays, I'm seeing Niantic doing the really scummy pricing of their items in both Pokemon Go and Monster Hunter now, and those are both games I really enjoy on my phone. And I really wish they wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it a tough pill to swallow. You're like, oh, what? And they always do it after you're hooked. It's like, really? Like,
Well,
yeah. So if you were to
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Beck.
Okay, I was gonna say because I just hopped into the market. Yeah, you can buy essentially like that whole heirloom skin plus the little thing that hovers about you, the glyph, the sigil, the color palette, the Prex card, and 425 platinum for $25. Or you can just or you can get the same thing without the platinum for 400 platinum. And that was something that they just changed, which I'm extremely thankful for.
yeah, that was a fantastic move.
That's
okay.
always
Back to Darkwing missions.
Yeah, I'll try not to talk too much about Monster Hunter because with all the information we've gotten over yesterday, I am about ready to burst with my love for that game. So let's go on to let's kind of keep on like the negativity side of things because that's always fun. Let's be Reddit for a minute. What is an issue with Warframe that you currently see right now that you wish the devs would kind of address, if anything?
I mean, off the top of my head, I can think one big complaint people have said. Yeah, I was gonna say onboarding. Though I've seen new players coming in, like at least, they might be Destiny 2 people. I don't know, that have recorded their stuff. Some have been taking to it well, so I don't know if it's just us looking at it in the past, but I do agree that the onboarding is a little rough and slow and fragmented. I would say another thing people want is like a type of harder like raid boss content type thing, like, which we don't really get those if they are, they're far and few in between.
Looking at you, Operation Scarlet Spear.
Yeah. So yeah, there are, and I would say this is a perk of Warframe, but also a downs, is they are very much a game that feels like they go after some of the newer stuff. Like, so yeah, Warframe, if someone says they don't like Warframe, I'm like, do you not like video games? Because it's like you can basically do like Tony Hawk's skateboarding. You can kind of do like a Pokemon Snap type thing with the scanning creatures and stuff for someone later on. You got Railjack, which is like a Sea of Thieves type thing. It's unfortunately, if you like something, they kind of move on So it's good if you don't like a certain game mode. It's like, well, it's probably not gonna be delved into it much further. But if you like it, it's like, well, this is probably all you're gonna get, unless it's literally like running these missions like gunplay type thing, like that just the game. Like it'd be weird if they changed that the main thing.
So what you're telling me is, as I'm playing this, expect 2 missions to suddenly turn into Cooking Mama. Got it.
Cooking Mom. I don't know if we've had that yet.
TennoCon 2028.
I was just gonna say. I mean, we mentioned TennoCon. I mean, with the 99 update, we are getting date sim, so we gotta take them somewhere. We gotta cook for them.
No real coherent end game group content like raised dungeon bosses, etc. It's only just higher level enemy grinds. Okay. So yay, here's more bullet sponges because your gun just went up 3 attack points.
Ah, bullet sponges. Laughs in Steel Path.
I don't know
I
if you're
mean,
being
later on they do
sarcastic.
have like the orb mother fights and stuff like that that have like mechanics to it, but yeah, it is like a raid thing. Once you learn it, it's kind of
Trivial.
oh yeah, grab a frame. Like you could possibly grab a frame that, you know, it's like I think Beck was saying earlier. It depends on what you're doing. You might take the better tool for the job type thing.
Like Eidolon hunts.
Yes.
And what about you, Beck? Do you have any gripes about the game?
Certain things, like maybe I get as part of the grind, but it's like, all right, do I really need 3 days to craft something? Or
yeah, I can
or
see
for the
that
love
being
of
annoying.
God, just because I failed a mastery rank test, let me try it, right? More than once.
I only get to try those things once.
Well, you do have the practice that you can do, but if
Yeah.
you're successful in it, it doesn't count. You
Yep.
have to then go in for like this is your testing one. Then if you somehow do screw it up, yeah, you have to wait the day for it or something.
Oof.
Yeah. Or at least, like, especially in the earlier levels, let me do more than one mastery rank test a day.
That and maybe readdress like streamline or like switching them around, because I think one of the big ones that people get stuck up on is either MR8 or MR9, which is like
But
a stealth. Like I
Yeah, I
think
was
it's
gonna
like the
say the
stealth
stealth
one that
one.
you have to silently kill everybody. But then rank 22, I think it was like teach you how to use your arc wing. I literally just flew straight across. Like it was like go in these rings. I just flew straight across to the end and was done with like.
Oh yeah, it was a speed test in your arc wing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it's literally like just fly to the other end in like 2 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was easy.
So it's like, yeah, maybe they need to reorder those.
Hey, just leave the survivals ones alone, because my Octavia slapped that one for MR30.
They added an a pity system and then lowered drop chances even more. Oh, that's a dick move right there.
Yeah, like some of the things are a tough grind. Like I think I'm still going after some of like Citrine update stuff, which is running one type of mission and you're trying to get fragments from that. And basically, like Andrew was saying, I'm kind of just relying on the pity system of that. Oh, and the
Oh,
reward.
you're talking about the mirror defense ones?
Yeah, and the reward rotations kind of are annoying sometimes. Where sometimes they get better at that with that, but a lot of times it's like rotation A, B, C, and then or once you miss one, it's like, well, are someone really going to stay in for another 20 minutes or something to get back to rotation A? It'd be nice if there was a better way to do that.
Oh, man,
Like Harrow.
Yeah.
I think I've dealt with systems like that, and it's like, nope, I'm not dealing with this crap. I will find a way to farm this on my own.
I'll say this, and I'm sure you'll probably agree. Fuck defection missions.
Mm-hmm.
What are these defection missions?
Basically, keep people alive and escort them while everything's trying to attack them. And the environment's trying to kill them too, not just the enemies.
Oh,
And if so many die, you fail the mission.
oh, there's literal escort missions in this game?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that-
rescue, and the rescue's kind of okay because if once you release them, for people that are new, when you release the guy, if you can give him something to maybe stay alive for just a little bit, you don't have to follow him. You just need to make it to the end. Like you can abandon him as long as he's still alive, even if he's bleeding out, because you can have a chance to res him. You can still make it there if you can do it in the 10 seconds or whatever. Like, but the ones he's talking about, yeah, they're actually escort missions that are just annoying.
Oh, that just sounds terrible.
Yeah, and the Steel Path version of them suck.
I'm guessing Steel Path is hard mode.
Pretty much.
Oh, good lord, that just sounds terrible.
Yeah, there's a reason I've been avoiding the or
Yeah,
I just do one rotation enough to clear it and just say, fuck that, I'm out.
That's also a weird thing. They've added a lot of quote unquote hard modes because you kind of have Steel Path, you have arbitrations, you have sorties, which are kind of like a daily hard mode type thing. The Archon fights, which are kind of like a weekly hard mode type thing. It's like, yeah, we have a lot of different hard modes.
Okay. So we did the gripe. So let's move on to this. Snap my fingers. You are now the head developer for Warframe for a day. Whatever you say gets put into the game even after that day. What do you want to see put into the game?
Well, as Reb, I would like to see more Railjack,
Yes.
but also like one thing I liked about Railjack early on was I would like to see an endless version of just the Railjack portion, not like the use the Railjack to get into a regular mission. Like that's a cool idea, but I would like to see an endless mode of like maybe you're dropping off people at the, because when you run the mission there's always like a side objective, but maybe have multiple of those and you can like, I don't know, I enjoyed being the pilot and be like, you know, I'm coming in, I'm dropping you off, and like go in and obliterate that space station, and I was basically the mom shuttling people for soccer practice. Like,
Okay,
It was
so
fun.
so to put it in, have you played Grand Theft Auto 5?
yes.
So this Railjack system to me sounds like you're the driver during the heist missions in GTA 5.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like everyone else is doing the work, but they need you to get them the hell out of there, or else they're all gonna die.
I mean, and later on when you get like more stuff in Railjack, there's things they can teleport back onto the ship with. But yeah, I'm basically keep making sure the ship doesn't explode, because I believe in if your ship explodes, you fail the mission. So
Okay, so even though you're
Catastrophic
not
failure imminent.
even though you're not actively fighting the enemies, it's I keep the ship alive because this is the only thing that's going to get us out of here and keep us out of just death. Okay. What about you, Beck? Do you have anything that you would add day one?
Pick some of the NPC AI for stuff, because there are certain stuff like the specters and your companions and stuff that are just terrible. I will say I am glad that what they did for the companions, because before companions if a companion died, that was it.
yeah,
They finally made it so that your companions even if they die, quote unquote, they'll come back.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, that was because my poor Smita Kavat.
All right, and we had Angira in chat saying Deep Archimedean. I'm guessing is that in reference to
that's
the
another one of
snap?
those like other hard mode things that they added. Yeah, it's It's basically like a roguelike mechanic where uh, you you do like 3 more hard missions. But this time they choose, you get bonus points for if you're using the weapon that they are saying to use, the Warframe that you're using, like the primary, secondary, and melee, and then the Warframe. Like you bonus points for more rewards at the end of the week if you complete all 3 missions. And basically, I think across the board, all the harder mission types, you if you go down, you're basically dead. I don't think people can revive you. Or I know they added something to arbitrations where you could collect things to res people again, but I don't think that's in like some of the hard. And Steel Path, you can still res people.
Okay. And then
So yeah,
they also stated more boss fights like the intercept battles in the first Ascendant, but implemented better like exploiter orb.
yeah.
If somebody doesn't know what first Ascendant is,
I mean,
I
a lot of
want
people
more
said it's kind of a,
operations.
yeah, I would say it's kind of, people are saying it was like a combination of like Destiny 2 and Warframe. I haven't played first, but Explorer Orb was one of the ones I was thinking of like they do have a couple boss fight things that have mechanics, and like Beck was saying, like the Eidolons, but it is one of those things, they're far and few in between, and kind of once you figure them out, it's like any other raid in a game where you're just like going through the motions.
I love how you
Give
can
me
move the
more
ship in the loading
operations
screens.
already.
Sorry. The more
Right,
operate.
because other than hold on, let's see. Let me take a look at my profile. Right. Let's see. They did what? The Belly of the Beast, which was the one for the Jade Shadows, and then Eyes of the Blight. Was that Shadows on the Wall?
Oof. I maybe Chad knows. I don't.
Yeah. And then I know they had Scarlet Spear, which was right after the new War quest
Yeah,
came out.
Scarlet Spear, I would say, was probably closest to a raid type thing because they were trying to make it so you could have 2 teams of 4 that had to like work collaboratively. At least I think the first iteration was, but then it kind of was breaking.
That could be something interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, but like they had like operations of like what Cicero's Crisis, Tethra's Doom, Spectres of Liberty, Grounds, Cryotic Front, Gatecrash.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
nice
I would
to
say
see
that's
those
probably
again.
those things that you can miss, but they kind of get recapped into like a little thing because it's just like a temporary, stuff.
I know they do what the Fomorian ones every once in a while, and it's the other one that pops up like every other month.
Yeah, it depends on like when you look at your star chart, whatever Corpus or Grenier one's filling up closer. I think that's the next one that gets tries to attack a relay. So what the relays could theoretically get destroyed, and then I think you have to rebuild. Like people have to rebuild them. But
Okay, so they can like cut off access to different planets and every once in a while.
the relay is just kind of like the little hub that like eventually Barrow will visit, which was Beck was mentioning earlier. But I don't think it would impede like getting to other planets or anything like that.
Okay.
No, it doesn't do that. I'm trying to see where's the one that they didn't rebuild.
And Jiro's mentioning the goal thing that happens in Plains of Eidolon every month or so. It's a different like plague on the the Grenier. That's a goal version of them that they just kind of run around. Like they'll actually, if you're running around the Plains of Eidolon, they'll kind of pop out of the ground, like burst out of the ground and try to like attack you.
Every other month we turn to zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Pretty much. Another thing I would like to see them do is I want more stuff with the Zeramon.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. I know they kind of did that with the Deviri paradox, sort of. But I'd like to know more. I mean, like, I'd like to see more of the Zeramon and like, stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh, and I guess as like a dev, the head dev, I would maybe try to figure out a way to maybe make Duviri Paradox not one of the starting spots. I feel like, I don't know. While it's a nice handy tool for a new player, so do something or that system early, because it's a nice way to theoretically get an alternative way to get frames. Like you can farm up maybe a harder to get frame through there, but it rotates out. But the story side of it, and I know it works in their universe, but I think it's confusing to a player.
Okay. And let's stay as the head dev. If you had to remove one thing from the game, love it or hate it, what would you say the game could do without?
I mean, can we all do the easy one that's basically removed at this point? Is the PvP?
Yeah.
No
PvP
one plays
in this
it?
game is dead.
Aren't I playing PvE right now though?
PvP.
Oh, PvP. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
In the middle of shooting shit at the same time.
No, PvP.
Okay.
Yeah, PvP in this game is dead. I don't even think people play Lunaro, do they?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
The closest to the PvP I've done of recent was, I think, during the like winter holiday, is they'll basically do a snowball fight thing. So people will jump into that because also there's skins and stuff attached to it. But yeah, I don't think many are doing regular PvP.
Okay, so we'll have PvP as the freebie. I do still want one answer from each of you though, and I'll read Angira's real quick while I let you guys think. Crafting timer. Listening to how you guys have explained talk about some of the crafting timers in this game, even though I haven't hit it yet, I am 100% inclined to agree with you that crafting timers do need to go the way of the dinosaurs.
I don't. I don't mind the crafting timers per se. I don't like the length of the time for some of them. Right? Like,
and unfortunately, it's like we all know why it's a free-to-play game. You can rush it. It's like, okay, but yeah, I agree. I toned it down a little bit.
yeah, for God's sakes, don't make me wait 3 days to craft a frame that I've been farming out for the last 6 hours.
So pretty much you would take all crafting timers and reduce them by at minimum 75%.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anything on?
Like who wants a 24-hour what was it? The smoking body ephemera or whatever? Really? You're going to make me wait 24 hours for a cosmetic to craft?
Yeah.
All right. Anything on your mind there, Dale?
Oh, something to get rid of. To be fair, I wasn't a big fan of the roguelike mechanic for that Duviri came in with, because it basically was like pick from 5 of these frames, 3 primary weapons, 3 melee weapons, 3 secondary weapons, and go out there. I like to make builds where you can, it almost feels like playing like Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like this will trigger this trap card and this thing with all the different mods. But when you go in there, it's like, oh, well, this random weapon that it won't work before, and it's like, well, this character's build's now useless. So I don't know, it feels bad starting those types of missions. Though granted, they do have mechanics in there where eventually whatever you take in, if you're in there long enough, you become so powerful you're gonna destroy anything in there.
Okay.
Off in the thing's general direction and it dies.
Yeah. But then I also looked at it, like I said, with Railjack and their feature things where it's like, well, they're probably not going to be doing too much. They did it this time. They're probably not going to do it again. So
Yeah, like they only made Void Storms relevant for Sevagoth and what, the tenant melee weapons, right? For the corrupted keys.
yeah. Oh, actually, that'd be a not a removal, but a change. You reminded me when you talked about Railjack is like maybe get Oberon farm out of Railjack because it seems like people just hate that. And I think didn't they put regular arrow in that? I know there's two or no
Ash.
Ash. Okay.
Well, yeah, because Ash used to have the. This is way back in the.
Oh yeah.
The
That
Maniacs
farm
or whatever.
was, which kind of goes back to what you were saying with the defection missions. I think that was the best place to get those guys that would drop one of the parts. Ugh.
Yeah, and Angiera is saying it still takes 6 days and 12 hours to craft Equinox. So I guess that's a
Yeah.
pretty powerful frame.
Not
No.
not necessarily. It's playing on the theme of like with the regular frames, how you get the basically neuroptics systems and whatever the third piece is.
Chassis.
Chassis. Equinox theme is it has a day and night form. So they decided you need to collect a day version of that and a night version of that, make them and combine them to make Equinox. So yeah, you're farming basically 2 frames
Oh, geez.
for
So
one.
it's essentially Eternity from Guild Wars 2, where you need two
Yeah.
great swords to make one great sword.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, Jesus. That in set essentially a freaking week to make it. I'm gonna take it doesn't. I'm gonna say it takes a while to farm up all the parts.
Not necessarily a while to farm up all the parts. It is a little annoying. It's just the fact that you have to build 2 separate frames to combine it into one, and that is why I threw platinum at that problem.
Or
And
it's like
just-
if you do see it in that that new Duviri system for newer players, definitely probably do it through there.
Okay. Fastest I've seen farming all 9 parts was 2 hours.
Yeah, because unfortunately it does. That's one of the ones that, like, when you go fight one of the assassination missions on one of the planets, that's where it has a chance to drop some of the early on frames that, like, first came out.
Okay.
And that's when you defeat the boss or whatever. It has a chance to drop one of those pieces. So that Equinox falls under that path. So you could randomly get 5-day systems, and so yeah, it's all chance and annoying.
Yay, RNG.
Yeah.
All right, and I said we'd get to this more in depth as we continued on with Destiny 2 essentially being told, hey, the game's now on life support until we kill the servers. You guys have been seeing a massive influx of new players, and I'm guessing the community's been rather accepting of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. New players, not necessarily, just more people, I'd say more content creators doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen more content creators and I was gonna say maybe it could also be the magical algorithm of the internet. But as soon as you click like one, I started seeing so many that are like, new Tenno, new Warframe player, new, like starting the whatever the quest is or whatever. So I've definitely seen an influx of those, and some of them have been Destiny 2 players, it seems.
Okay. Hopefully they're acclimating well to this system of gameplay.
I know a few of them that like the grind, but also, in a way, it kind of does suck because, like, I know one of the bigger Destiny streamers, like, you just see him part of his stream is literally just him opening up his his inbox, because people gifting shit to him. Granted, he doesn't he'll get, mostly a lot of it's cosmetics and shit, but it's like, okay, cool. you know, that's nice. Some of us out here playing for, got over several thousand hours in this game.
I actually learned from one of the players or some of those streaming. You can actually turn that off in the settings. So, but yeah, I agree. I always had that like bad feeling about it. I think like it was with Guild Wars 2 at one point, like Heart of Thorns or Path of Fire or something, where what was it, soda popping or something?
Yeah,
there was a big like name streamer, but like the day one, people are like sending him like the legendary greatsword. I'm like, geez, guys, like you're taking anything, like any enjoyment out of the game from the person. Like,
see, when I see stuff like that, it's just, to me, it's someone trying to get something expensive to try and get into the person's in group. I'm guessing on that kind of thing. When I see big players like that, and if I ever decide to chill in their chat, I'll just answer questions and I'll follow them around. I'll make sure people don't die, but it's like I'm not sending them a freaking legendary. It's like, oh no, this is legendary. Here's what it looks like. It does take a while to get one. Don't expect it for free though.
yeah,
I know that's rich coming from me.
I'm gonna say, you want help? I'll help you in game. I'm not gonna throw my money at you.
Yeah.
Off all the Guild Wars 2 things I send.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in that. Like, if I'm playing with someone, usually it's a friend. Like, I won't do it for like a random streamer, or if I'm enjoying their stuff, and I've gifted people like one of the dye palettes for Warframe. That's like 50 platinum, so it's not. And that's if I have enough that I farm. So yeah, I'm not like
breaking the bank.
I'm not gonna be sending them. Yeah. Oh, here's the 100, or here's the Sevagoth Prime Access that's like $150. Like, nah, I don't got that kind of money.
Yeah, I know. Even in Guild Wars 2, it's like I don't care to watch big streamers. I hate watching big guys because it always clicks in my mind. It's like I'll watch them a little bit and be like, how the hell did you get big? In my mind, like I tried watching XQC one day, and I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, the dude's in the sub chat. This thing's going fast, and there's zero interaction with this chat, and I can guarantee there's like 20 mods in here. He's in between fights, and none of the mods can just screen cap a quick question and say, hey, answer this one real quick. There was just no interactions. Like, why do people like watching this guy? When I watch streamers, I usually go for the guys who are sub 10. And especially if it's a new player in Guild Wars 2, because that's my big game, is I'll follow them around because they don't know what they're looking for. They don't know that I've stream sniped them and I'm standing 3 feet behind them just out of screen. And if they need a hand, I'll jump in, I'll knock out a boss, or I'll make sure they don't die. And then if I see that they're brand new, because I look for specific tells like their gold, their karma, and stuff like that. If I see they're brand new character and they don't know a script from a char, it's like, okay, I'll message them. I'll send them like 5 gold and 2 18-slot bags, something I can get back in 20 minutes in Practice of the Mists, and be like, hey, the class you chose is really fun. It can do this, that, and the other thing. If you need a hand, let me know in the future. Keep this mail. And I'll talk with them in chat when they finally realize that they had a mail 20 minutes later.
Like what I do to you in certain games. I just find your character. I don't say anything, and I just I'm off in the distance. Take a screenshot on my screen. Just send it to you.
Yes, you
I
do
can
that.
Smell you.
You do that, and and all of a sudden my camera's panning like 30 like I'm flipping around like, where the is he? I know he's there. It's gotten to the point that I'll just hear the Discord beep and know that you were watching. And it's like, okay, where the fuck is he? But it's hard to find you because I don't know your names in games. Sometimes you change it up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So so it could be the chance that one day he does that. I will walk straight up to him, look right at his character, and go, "No, that can't be him," and I'll walk away.
I just send a message. Did you need something?
Well, to be fair, once you get to the spot where they talk about this, they introduce the stalker to you, you're going to be perfectly fine. You're going to be like, I've been used to this in every other game.
Oh, boy. Well, it's good that the community is being accepted. It's always good when communities are accepting because I know there's some out there that's like, oh well, if you can't do this, then you shouldn't be playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's block
Yeah.
Machinist out of PF because it's doing the lowest numbers in compared to our DPS on the first tier of Savage for the new expansion. Oh, woe is me, whiny ass bitch Final Fantasy players.
You just went through like 4 different games for one analogy, and I love it. You mentioned Guild Wars 2, mentioned Salvage from 14, and then you know something else.
Just no, I just find it funny. I find it annoying because like with raids, it's like, oh, look at our DPS numbers. Yeah, so what?
Yeah, I'm one of those people. It died. Good. Let's move on. Who cares?
Honestly, I think one thing that they could do to maybe counteract the, it's not going to fully counteract the time, like the crafting timers, but I would like to see this better because it was a cool experience. Like if you're streaming, like I said, I've said it multiple times, definitely stream and say you're a new player, because I think that's also the best tutorial. Like people will be like, oh, try the ground slam, or I think earlier when Beck was saying like, oh, try this when you're rolling and doing that stuff. But they don't have as many anymore. But when I started, it was right around one of their anniversaries too. Like they were giving away some of like, they have in-game codes that you can put into the marketplace. Like there was one that was like free sword. So honestly, I was like, oh, I'm really liking the sword. And they're like, hey, you can get it's like the heat sword or whatever it was. And it basically gave me that as like the weapon. I think there was the sniper, like one of the snipers you could get as like certain codes, but they don't really do it too often anymore, which I think they should.
I don't think they've done that in at least in a couple of years. It's mostly just been glyphs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like content creator, or like if a event's coming, they'll have like a special glyph for it.
Okay. Now, I do want to bring this up for the folks in chat as well. Are there any topics that we haven't touched on that you would like to go on to? Because we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. I feel we're kind of getting to the end of the podcast before we bring out the other question. Is there anything else you guys want to cover?
Yeah, it's like we could go longer, but it's also we can't talk too much further in just because of like I I hope you stick with it and we can talk more when there's more things to talk about.
I I uh, I'm free to go down longer. I do nothing in my free time, so I'm here for you. I'm here for you guys. We can go as long as you want to go. We can.
I'm not on call for the rest of the day.
Yes, if you got something you want to bring up, Dale, by all means, man, go for it.
No,
Gosh,
I meant like
dude.
story wise, like it's like I know we've been kind of dancing around it. It's like, oh, there's plenty we could like talk about, but not, you know.
How much you want to be spoiled? That's the real question.
So let's put it this way. Fuck me. What is something story wise that you two want to talk about? I don't care. Because
Well,
if
but
you
you said, that's, you know, you're saying that, but that is the one thing that the community has like, and I think that's why people love the community, is people will go to great lengths to protect that mystique in general, even for like the other viewers. Like they actually put in a streamer mode feature that like hid some of that you may unlock. So if you're streaming it, you're not spoiling it for people. So I feel like it's almost like a community thing where people are just like, no, we want you to enjoy it.
Okay, so okay, I get it there. No, there's
It's like the Matrix. You have to see it for yourself.
All right, yeah. So the only reason why I was saying that is because coming from Guild Wars 2 and used to being a bit more inside the community and stuff like that, I have seen my fair share of a lot of people going, screw the Guild Wars 2 story, it sucks. Come play this endgame content with us. So with this being as big of a game as it kind of is, I was like, okay, is there something like that? But hearing that the community in general, kind of like the nebulous amorphous mass, is like, nah, you play this. You actually, like, telling people to play the story is really heartening in my mind. I will say that.
So I got a question for you then. What after testing the, I mean you've dipped your pinky toe into it. What of your original thoughts on this is different now, right? Because obviously it's a free to play game. Everybody thinks, oh, it's pay to win and stuff like that, and it's really not. It's more pay for convenience in a way, right? You pay for the convenience, right? Oh, you want to rush it? Okay, you use platinum. Oh, you want the biggest thing that you pay for realistically is cosmetics.
Yes.
So
Everything is all player economy, right? The in-game currency is entirely tradable. You can farm out stuff that you can sell to other players for, X amount of platinum or whatever and stuff like that. And you realistically don't have to spend a single penny on
So I will sit there and say, as a it's 1% pay to win by definition, most fair and balanced version of it. I will say, as the new player who's coming into this, because again, when I got told, "Hey, let's do Warframe" last month, is when I downloaded it and actually started trying it out. Um, I, f- there could be a possibility that I may have skipped some stuff. I feel like there's some stuff that isn't explained very well. One thing I would like is a easier way to get to your Warframe's ability list. The type of system I would say is with Overwatch. Doesn't matter what hero you're on, and if you're in the middle of in the middle of a fight, F1 pulls up your entire ability list, and you can read off what it does mid fight. I don't know if there's something like that in this game. From there, it does seem a little nickel and dimey when you're just looking through everything. But hearing that you can essentially get or earn all the rewards in game, even though it will take a while, is another thing that's heartening to hear on my side, especially seeing as right this second I'm unemployed and I can't buy anything. From there, it looks like it has a little bit too much right out the gate. I know they have you pick the one frame you want to choose, and they let you look at it before you pick it. But then you go to the swap list and you just look at all that's there, and then you have more that you can craft. And then it's like, oh, there's a regular version and a prime version. More of the explanation on that would be interesting to see. And then before we even started the podcast today, I was asking about the hell room that's on your ship for some reason. That's over here. Run into it real quick.
yeah, the helmet.
Yeah. Doors closed because they already got stabbed, so I guess I can't go back in there.
I don't think they ever actually did explain that in the beginning of the game, even when I started playing.
I want to say there was something where they talked about it being sealed, like Ordis talks about it being sealed off or something, but
Oh,
yeah, I
I
don't.
turned Ordis's volume down. He got annoying after about
Oh,
like the second hour.
They do explain it, but it's easy to miss. Okay. So I feel like something a little more in your, like a little bit more explanation that is more in your face as a new player would be nice. But from there, the movement's not bad. The gunplay is really good. I found out I kind of don't like the bows in this game because this game does have a little bit of a hitbox porn fetish. Um, because I loved bows in D2, and it just I felt like I could actually hit stuff with it. And this one, I don't know why it doesn't feel like I can hit stuff with it. And I find the animations for the bow and arrow just absolutely absurd. Because I'll be doing like a defense mission that has long hallways, and I'll pop some guy in the head, and then their body will just fly back until it finally finds a solid wall to pin them to. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
you kind of
that's
just
awesome.
flow like 150 feet due to an arrow, dude. You don't need to milk your death that much.
I'll say, wait till you get the bolt door.
Oh shit! I think I.
It's basically like a nail gun rifle where you're just gonna pierce people to the wall.
Oh shit! Because
Or just wait till you get to the Brahma and you just point in a general direction and fire,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say,
everything go boom.
don't roll out all bows just because of that one. Like loads of them will play slightly different. I mean, the animation will be pretty much the same, but like there's
The
ones
len-
where
the
when
lens.
it's
Oh,
but
jeez.
also that's what I think I like about Warframe and their MR thing is you want to level up every weapon, every frame to 30 at least once. So you at least get to try it and go. And people will refer to certain weapons if you see people on like forums or something talk about MR fodder. Basically, they're saying you're probably not going to play this past the 30 levels that you need to get the MR experience.
Yep.
Okay. Well, with that, is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we move on to the question?
I think I'm good.
Beck?
Nah. I got
All right.
nothing.
All MK1 weapons are Mr. Fodder, and
Oh,
the
and that is
That's
important
true.
to note. That is important to note. MK1 weapons are one of the few that you can just buy with credits, so that's an easy way to get quick MR fodder and try kind of the different types out there.
I
Okay.
think the Lado also, the base Lado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
It's that way.
Kit brought up one question. We'll do this, then we'll get to the question I posed to you guys before the podcast. So the message Kit just sent: what is your favorite mission type? Defend, kill, or whatever?
Andrew stole my answer. I was gonna say Railjack, but I still wish they an endless mission type for it, so you could just kind of fly around a ship with your buddies.
Yep, I like space combat. I will say one of my favorites besides Railjack, survival. I like to see how long I can go before it actually becomes a nuisance to try and survive.
Yeah,
Most recent time was 6 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I will
Okay.
say, even though I was kind of saying I didn't like the Duviri stuff, I do like going into the Duviri like the world portion, I guess is the best way to refer to it as. It is definitely a good late night if you're gonna start sipping on maybe adult beverages. Because like I said, at a certain point, you become so powerful, you don't have to worry about anything. And it's great because it kind of kicks in when you've been maybe a little bit into the adult beverages. So it
Yeah.
very much matches with it.
Or when you go fight Kalervo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the Warframe talk. We're going to go into what I have dubbed the super secret topic, but this month I decided to actually let our guests know what the topic was beforehand. I thought of this topic when I was at work and I was listening to some Did You Know Gaming videos, and they were doing their developer showcase. Like they did one for Hideo Kojima, Satoru Iwata, Masahiro Sakurai, and a few others. I'm kind of hoping they do a few more of those because I really like those like deep delves into a very specific creator. And there's tons of big name devs out there that they could easily do videos on. So the super secret question was, who is your favorite developer, whether it's a single person or if it's a company as a whole? And Deo, seeing as you are the guest today, we'll start with you.
All right. Well, I did think, and I was trying to think of like ones from like my past, but honestly, growing up, I probably didn't follow like who did what type of thing. But the one I kept kind of going back to, and I kind of felt bad because it's the one we're talking about, Digital Extremes. And as I was talking about other things, like they listen to their community, and they don't always cave in because like, they're also a business, and I think people sometimes will respect that in the end. But also, like I was saying earlier, the movement was based off a bug, and instead of saying no, play the game how we want you to play, they were like, no, this sounds cool. That's how they want to play. Let's implement into the game. They kind of run with certain jokes. I mean, eventually, you can get like an arcade system that has like not a great version, but like a Street Fighter kind of clone using your Warframes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's probably not the greatest. I haven't played with it too much, but it seems like the controls are a little bit not great on keyboard. So maybe if a controller's plugged in, it's better. And they also made ones like a joke. Well, I think when you got Zephyr Prime, I think it gave you like a thing that was basically like a Flappy Bird version of it. They added that to this arcade thing, and then I think they use like they run with like these jokes. Like they don't take themselves too seriously, I think, but you also see the passion behind it. If you can go back to when they announced the Railjack, I think like follow-up interviews with Steve Sinclair, you could tell this. I think he mentions about this is like something that he wanted to introduce for so long. You can kind of see that excitement and passion behind his eyes, which made me super excited for Railjack. And while it had a shaky launch, I think it's definitely in a good spot. And I they came from, I think, great roots. They helped work on Unreal Tournament, which I know I used to play a lot of that growing up. I sadly Dark Sector, which was like their own game that they started to make, that kind of like you can see definitely parallels with Warframe, and a lot of people are saying Warframe 99 is supposed to be like a love letter, like kind of maybe going back to that Dark Sector type thing. So, but yeah, for me, Digital Extremes has my respect. I mean,
All right. And Beck, development team.
Hello Games. And the reason I say this is because they took a product that they wanted to showcase within an idea. I'm mostly talking about No Man's Sky on this, right?
Yeah.
They fumbled it, but they owned up to their mistake, and they made crazy improvements to it that do not cost the player a single dime. They're like, hey, we had this idea, we couldn't deliver it. You know, our heads were bigger than our wallets, essentially, but we want to fix it, right? We want to give you a game that we feel proud of, right? And that's why I think what was it? Was it the game awards or whatever? I think is where they showed a teaser of their new game that they're developing, and the guy even said he's like yeah, I'm a little nervous, right? I mean rightfully so, right? You know, they had a reputation of like showing something and oh god, it went to terrible. But I think since then and what they've done for No Man's Sky, I think people have a little more faith in them that they'll hey, they got it. That if there's problems with it, they'll improve it.
Yeah, and I will agree with that. No Man's Sky, like Hello Games, like they over if they had left the game as it was and didn't touch it, it would be remembered as just an overhyped POS that they just released to try and get people's money to find the whales and go from there. But no, they released it and went, oh yeah, we kind of lied. Let's fix that. And they've
yeah,
spent like the last 5-6 years just free content patch. Like, do you guys need to like sell? You guys have like gotten the game to what you said it was gonna be. Do you guys need fucking money?
yeah. I was gonna say, actually, that's a solid pick, just because, like you're saying, when they announced, they did so well with that and turning that around. I think when they announced that new game that they're going to be doing, I was probably like, I'm pretty much already sold. Like, I trust you guys. Like, unless something crazy news wise drops and happening, like if they are just going to be doing what they did with No Man's Sky, it's a no brainer that their new game.
Yeah, if they've learned from the mistakes that they made with No Man's Sky, then Hello Games is going to be one of those companies that people like. A lot of people sit and go, "Oh, hey, no pre-orders." It's like, no, pre-order a game if it's from a company you trust that you know is going to deliver on what they say. I feel Hello Games has become one of those companies that they fucked up. They learned they fucked up, and now they're not going to do it again in the future. So if the game sounds good to you, pre-order it. And then before we get to mine, we'll do Angira. Kojima, we have a very similar interest and then point of view about the world getting darker but still being optimistic. Okay. I hope you've listened to the Hideo Kojima Did You Know Gaming expose they did. That one was really fun to listen to. And then we'll go into mine of developer development team. So the developer I have to go off of, and the reason why this was the question I decided to use for you guys is, again, I was listening to that Did You Know Gaming thing, and the one for me is Satoru Iwata, who was the president of Nintendo up until about 6 years ago when he unfortunately passed away. Listening to everything that man had his fingers in, that dude almost single-handedly created my childhood. Because Game Freak was having troubles with making Pokemon, and they're like, "Hey, we need some help with the code." And Iwata's like, "Okay, cool, give it to me. I'll have it back to you in a week." He hands it back to them, and like, "The fuck? How?" He's like, "Oh, this." And then one of the Earthbound games. Oh God, what the heck is his name? I can't remember his name. The guy who made Earthbound was having troubles getting one of the games made, and he's like, "Okay, we don't know what to go from here." And this is when Iwata was president of HAL, who made Kirby, went on to help with Smash Brothers and all that. Iwata was like, "Hey, let me see what you guys got here." It's like, "Okay, we need to spend 6 months trying to fix all this, or we scrap everything and start from scratch and be past this in 2." And they decided, okay, fine, we'll scrap it if you can guarantee it. And they were past it in like a month and a half, and even they were just sitting there going, "The hell kind of president is this?" So it's like, even though he's gone, his memory will not be forgotten anytime soon, and I miss that man. But yeah, I think we had some. I think the guys who make Warframe, Hello Games, and yeah, Kojima are all amazing picks as well for that. So we're a good hour and 40 in. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here?
Are you going to start streaming your Warframe adventures? I know you did a couple, or one, or like a couple of them, but like maybe when you get through that story, because like I said, people love to watch those moments.
So, and here is where I was going to piss you guys off.
He's been a Destiny 2 plant the whole time. Dun, dun, dun.
So I will say, with the talk we have had today, I am a little more inclined to keep playing this game. I will say that I'll probably give it a little while longer just to try and figure everything out. But the run and gun games like this aren't really my thing. So while it is fun, while I have enjoyed it, it's one of those, okay, I'll play it for like an hour, and then it's like, okay, now I'm bored. I'm going to go do something else. Type
Or you
thing.
have to wait for
Understandable.
something to craft.
Huh?
Or you have to wait for something to craft.
So yeah, let's go get me Eclipse, and I can just forget about the game for like 3 months and come back and go like, all right, I was making this thing.
You laugh, but that's actually what I do, right? Is because I'll come out, I'll play the game for a Prime release or like an operation, stuff like that, and then just disappear.
No, I get you, but no, this game, the game's not bad. I just haven't found that hook yet that would keep me playing. And
Telling you, second story in War Within.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Becca saying, I'd be curious, like if you get to the second dream and War Within, and you're still not interested, then it is definitely tough if it's not your gameplay style, but you might stick it out maybe once you get to second dream and War Within.
okay, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to uninstall it. I'll probably jump into it maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, if that, and go for like an hour or two, and we'll see how far I get before I just get bored. But no, it's been enjoyable. I feel bad that something else important kind of popped up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go play that now. It really did get to the point. It's like, oh, I'm playing this. And it's like, oh, this sounds funner to play right this second. And I'd go and do that. So,
But that's also the nice thing is, it's like you can walk away from it and come back to it. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'll be walking away from most of the other games I'm playing in October when Silent Hill 2 remake comes out.
Yeah, I think one of the games that kind of dragged me away from playing this was I started playing Stardew Valley.
Mm.
So I was getting into that and enjoying that. I think I played enough to get through 2 years. I'm like, okay, let's go play something else because I've done nothing but play this for like a week straight.
Where's that goddamn fish I'm looking for?
Is there fishing in the game?
Yes.
Oh, good lord! They really do just need to add Cookie Mama by 2028.
Processed
Die.
foam residue?
Yeah, we're probably not far off.
Processed.
Yeah, we like Andrew was saying, we have spear fishing, so
Oh god, that's great. But I think with that we will call it good. An hour and 45. I'm feeling decent about that. We had a little bit of hiccup with the audio when we first started because OBS wouldn't pick up my media player to play the song. But with that, Deo, again, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us again. That was absolutely amazing to have you on here. Hopefully in the future, if we have another game or if Kit has a game she wants to play, you'd be down to come back on.
yeah, definitely. It was fun.
And same to you as well, Beck. You've been on here for 2 months, so we'll leave you be unless you regain your sanity for a little while.
Yeah, right. Whiskey helps.
So I will say before we get out of here, we do have the game for next month. Next month we will be talking about Guild Wars 2 and the expansion for Jantheir Wilds. We'll probably do it the same way that we did Dawn Trail with Final Fantasy 14. We'll start off the podcast with an overview of like the game as a whole, and then slowly work our way into what has been released for Jantheir Wilds. We are looking to have 5 people on for that podcast. Right
Yeah.
now, our
I have a question. Will the new raid have been released by then?
No.
Okay, then never mind. Don't count me in for that one.
No, the new raid isn't out until I think Q3, which isn't going to be till next year.
Okay, cool. I'll be back for any Guild Wars 2 related things when the raid comes out, because that's probably the only time I'll be coming back for the game.
Yeah, right now we have Genie, aka Heroine Dark, and I am in talks with Project Dyad to get both Emery and Runer onto the stream with Kit. So next month is going to be fucking packed, and
It's a full party.
oh yeah, it's gonna be insane.
Bring forth the beverages.
And as soon as we have everything set in stone, we're so close to being set in stone. I will have the announcement trailer going up on YouTube, Twitter, and all that stuff. So all my socials have been floating down below me. So if you guys need to go and find those, it's pretty much Syllabus R2 on almost everything. Deos has been streaming beneath his and in the chat as well. So if you guys are new to never heard of Deo, go give him a follow as well. It's been enjoyable having you on here.
Yeah, I loved being on here. It's like I said, maybe once that hook gets into you on Second Dream and War Within, we'll have to do more Warframe versions of it.
Okay,
I'll take you through a couple hours survival.
all right. So yeah, I will be eager to do another Warframe podcast in the future if I get that hook sent to me. Other than that, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Do take care. And if you guys are on YouTube later on in the VOD, comment down below what you want to see later on. Peace. You guys want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Later.